In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the eConsult form and how to get started with it. So if you watched the previous video on creating shortcuts, finding your eConsult, you hopefully will have a shortcut already created. So if we click on that, and just to check, it is with your GP surgery, so we can look at the top, and today we're looking at the Village Medical Centre. It's important that you choose the eConsult for your GP surgery so that they have your records, which will help them identify what treatment you need, if any. So first of all, if we look up here, the 3-line menu, if we click on that, this gives us a little bit more information about eConsult. So if we look, if you want some questions about how it works, there's some frequently asked questions. So they're all there. Anything that you want to find out, if you're not sure about how the service works, you can just click on each one and some information will appear on what your question is. Typically, the services are just the best time to fill out an eConsult form is in the morning. They do try and get back in touch with you the same day, but they usually state it can be up to 24 hours, and they aim at the latest to get back in touch with you by 6:30 the following day. If you're wanting to use the service in the afternoon, you're better off either ringing your GP surgery or contacting NHS 111 if you need some medical advice quite quickly. Obviously, if it's an emergency, then it would always be dial 999. But if you just need medical advice, 111 in the afternoon from your mobile phone or your landline. If you're done with this, just click back up here. This brings the menu along the right hand side. If you click home, that takes you back to this. So then you need to decide if you want help with a condition, if you need administrative help, so if you need a sick note or GP letter, or if you want help for a dependent like a child. So depending on what you need, if you need some support with your condition, if you just click on that one, and on here you can either find what condition you've got, or you can type it in here. So if we click on one of those, this will take you to this screen. So on here, if you click Get NHS Self-Help Advice, it takes you to the NHS website. It gives you some information about the condition that you need help with. And if you click on Find and Consult a Pharmacist, again it takes you to the NHS page and it gives you some information how a pharmacy can help you. If not, you want to contact your GP practice, which the eConsult form will go straight to them and they'll decide on what treatment that you need, and they're the ones that will get back in touch with you. You just read the information here and then you click on You've read and accept. You click next step. If it's for you, you click on for myself. If it's not, there'll some questions here to make sure it's not an emergency. If it's any of those, you click on and experience some of these. If not, just click on I'm not experiencing them. And this is where you can either log in with your NHS login information. So if you've got the NHS app or if you use the NHS website and you sign into that, you'll need it's usually your email address and the password that you set up. You can fill the form in without logging in. So if you don't have those details to hand or you haven't set the NHS app up, just click on continue without login. And here it will check to see, just check that it's the right GP surgery. Just click yes, that's correct. And then put your gender in, and then you can just click on these and just type the day and it will automatically go across to the next. the month in, and then type in the year you were born. Once you put your date of birth in, click the next step, and then it's going to go through the form with you. So it'll be asking questions regarding your condition. So just answer all the questions. Once you've completed the form, you'll get a message to notify you that you'll be contacted by your GP surgery. In the event that they can't determine your condition through the answers that you've given on the form, they will recommend that you contact the GP surgery on their phone number. So we go back to the home page. If you need some help with your child's condition, if they're not feeling well, then you would click on this one here and follow the same process. It will ask for your details first, and then that of your child, and then again follow through the same form answering the questions. If it's administrative help that you would need, sick note or GP letter, you would click on here. Again, if you read the information and then be happy, click next step. Who the request is for. If it's for someone else, again it will ask for your details first and then their details second. So here it's just making sure it's not regarding a medical condition, because you won't get it's not the correct form. So just to confirm that you're in the right place, just click next step. Here again, you continue with the NHS login if you have them to hand. If you don't have them to hand, or you don't know them, you don't have an NHS login, you can continue without logging in. Again, check the right medical centre, your details, your date of birth, and then click on the next step. And then it will go through the form on what administrative issue it is that you need help with. Once you've completed filling out the form, you'll receive a message like this, just telling you that they've confirmed they've received your request and when they'll get back in touch. So once you complete that, you can either close it down, or you click on here and you can go back to the home, or you can go to the practice website, and the telephone number for your GP surgery is on there as well if you need that.